The Pro Controller is a must buy for every Switch owner who does plan to play in docked mode, because let's be honest, the Joy-Cons in the grip really don't cut it, especially with Joy-Con drift knocking about. You can't really trust the Joy-Cons, but the trouble with Nintendo's Switch Pro Controller is how expensive it is. It did cost me £60 when I did buy the Switch Pro Controller. When the Switch did come out in March 2017, it has gone down in price since then, but the Pro Controller from Nintendo is still the same price as a full-fledged game on the Switch. So you have to choose whether you want to pick up a brand new game or the Switch Pro Controller from Nintendo. A company known as EasySMX sent me this, a cheaper Switch Pro Controller alternative. Stay tuned for later on in the video where I will be giving out details on how you can win one of these controllers. A massive thank you to EasySMX for sending out this controller for me to try out, and also for allowing me to give away a few of these controllers as well. This controller from EasySMX is a more cost-effective way to play something like 4-player Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or play Smash Bros Ultimate with a bunch of people in your household. It is more than £20 cheaper than Nintendo's Switch Pro Controller, and as I will be going over later on in the video, you will not be compromising on quality either. The controller is more cheaper if you do enter in the discount code SNORF onto their shop. You will save 25% off the price of the controller. The link to the controller will be in the description below. So I have been spending quite a lot of time playing with this controller on Splatoon 2. I thought that would be the best sort of game for me to compare this controller to Nintendo's Switch Pro Controller, because I did spend over 800 hours playing Splatoon 2 with Nintendo's Switch Pro Controller. I really like this controller. I don't feel like you can go wrong if you do pick up this controller. The biggest compliment I can pay to this controller is that pretty much after a few hours I forgot that I was using a different controller to the Switch Pro Controller from Nintendo. That is the biggest compliment I can pay to this controller, because I really do love the Switch Pro Controller from Nintendo. And yeah, it just felt so natural using this controller from EasySMX. Not only does it look really cool with the LED lighting which you can turn off, but most importantly it is really comfortable to hold. I think the grip at the back is the key factor for the comfort for this controller. I was really impressed with how the grip feels, how it feels to hold. Yeah, I feel like the grip does a really great job for comfort when you are holding this controller for a long period of time. But also it is really great to use as well. The triggers at the back, how they stick out, again that does a really great job when you are using the controller for shooters like Splatoon 2 and other shooters on the Switch like Warface. You got Apex Legends on the Switch as well as Fortnite. The triggers are really good in my opinion. The buttons feel good to use as well as the analog sticks. It is a really good controller in my opinion. Unlike other well-known Switch Pro Controller alternatives out there, this controller has gyro. Not a lot of other controllers out there, alternatives to Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, has the gyro, which is the biggest important thing for a controller in my opinion, especially for someone like myself who does play Splatoon 2, and I am pleased to say that the gyro in this controller works exactly like the gyro in the Switch Pro Controller. Like was said before, the transition from Nintendo Switch Pro Controller to this controller, it just feels completely natural. One improvement over Nintendo Switch Pro Controller with the EasySMX Pro Controller is the vibration. It is a lot stronger. You can also sort of control the vibration in your controller as well. You can turn it up or turn it down. There are 5 levels to the vibration. This controller also has an exclusive feature that might be a little bit controversial. That is the turbo function, where you can pretty much hold down the button and in the game itself it will do that action without you having to repeatedly press that button. So pretty much what I did is I tied the B button, the jump button, to the turbo function. So I was just holding down the B button, and as you can see, it looks like I am constantly bunny hopping around the stage, and that will be really annoying to come up against. I didn't really use this feature online because I didn't want to be that sort of person that did ruin the experience for a lot of people out there. This could be a little bit game breaking. I'm sure if I did do this online, I would get reported to Nintendo for hacking, and who knows what would happen with Nintendo. They might shut down my account. So yeah, I'm a little bit wary of using this turbo function for online multiplayer like Splatoon 2, but for offline, yeah, this would work really well for the campaign and for other games as well. You can tie it to any button. You can tie it to the Y button, the trigger button, the shoulder button, whatever you want pretty much. And yeah, instead of you having to repeatedly press it down to do an action or to do various actions on screen. So yeah, for me to constantly jump around the stage, I would have to constantly press the B button. But with this turbo function, I can just hold it down, and yeah, it will sort of repeat my action without me constantly having to press the B button or whatever button I do choose to tie that function with the turbo feature. So yeah, that is probably the most controversial thing about the EasySMX controller. Other things that need to be pointed out with this controller is that it doesn't have amiibo functionality. I guess you could just use your Joy-Cons if you do want to use the amiibo in any sort of way within Smash Brothers, for example, or Splatoon 2. But yeah, this controller, it doesn't have an NFC reader, and also with the controller I couldn't sort of turn on the Switch system itself by holding down the home button like what you can do with the Switch Pro controller. You have to turn on the system and then turn on the controller, and then you can sort of go about and play your games. Also, another thing is that this controller doesn't have the battery life of the Switch Pro controller. It does last a very good time though. It does sort of last around about 8 to 10 hours, which is definitely a lot more than my DualShock 4, and I do believe that does compare nicely with the DualSense as well as other controllers out there. But unfortunately, the battery life is less than the Switch Pro controller. But again, it's not going to run out anytime soon. You don't have to constantly charge the controller, which is a good thing, because the cable that you do get to charge the controller with is just way too short in my opinion. It does take quite a while to fully charge as well, so that is something to bear in mind as well. Overall though, I really do feel like this controller is value for money. I am really impressed with the controller. I would definitely recommend it to you if you are in the market for a new controller for the Switch. And with Splatoon 3 coming out really soon in 2022, if you are on a budget but want the same sort of quality to what the Switch Pro controller can offer, then yeah, this is definitely the way to go. I really do feel like this is a really good alternative to the Switch Pro controller. I will definitely say that it is well worth picking up, and yeah, I will be giving away a few of these on my Twitter. So pretty much all what you have to do to win one of these controllers is to follow me on Twitter, reply to the pinned tweet by saying I want to win one of these controllers, and hashtag UK, because this is a UK only giveaway. And yeah, pretty much I will pick out a random winner, and yeah, EasySMX will send you out the controller in due time. So you have until next Monday to enter, and yeah, it is pretty simple to enter. Follow me on Twitter, reply to the pin tweet. I would really appreciate if you did retweet and like the pinned tweet as well. And yeah, reply by saying I want to win one of these controllers, hashtag UK, so that I know you are from the UK and you are eligible to win. And yeah, I will pick out a winner next Monday. So yeah, of course, if you don't win, then yeah, you can get this controller for cheaper. As I did mention earlier, there is a discount code if you do put in Snorf into their shop, where you can enter in a discount code. You will get up to 25% off this controller. So yeah, I am really impressed with the controller. Thanks to EasySMX for sending it my way and for doing the giveaway as well. Yeah, that is pretty much it with this video. I will see you in another video soon.